This conference will now be recorded.
So what I was discussing in the last session. Yes, guys.
About database, like how integrating with DB and externalizing the
Integration with
properties.
exactly. So first we have seen how to connect with the database and how to fire the query dynamically, and we have seen about how to write a concept of externalization, because if you want to migrate between the environments, how we can pass that properties and by using a ML file, and how once you externalize the properties, how you can secure that properties as well, right? By using a secure properties tool. Yesterday we have seen how to encrypt the properties, and before passing that properties to database connection, how to decrypt that as well by using a what is the module name? Secure properties module. I'm sorry. So there was a background noise, so I muted the mic. Yes, guys. So I hope everyone completed the practice part till now. Shalini said
Yes,
okay.
it.
What about others? At least the database connection concept, is it done?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So today I will give some assignment for you on board on basis of all the concepts whatever we discussed. Okay. Then you can continue with that practice part. First, before that, I just want to tell one more concept, right? So here, one sec. What is the structure of a mule flow? Generally, mule flow contains source, process,
Process.
and the error handling section. Correct? It's a flow. Okay. Now, type of components we can configure in a source part.
Listener.
Listener kind of
Listener.
components which will accept the request, converts into event. That event will be processed by the processors, right? Finally, the response will be given back to the client through the listener. Okay. Now, if you're coming from any programming language, what a method will do, what a method functionality,
It will take
based
some
on the input,
parameters.
it will execute the logic and return some value. Both are same. For flow functionality and method functionality, both are. Is it same? Yes, right?
Yes.
So, uh, where we write these flows, we will write these flows inside a XML file. Where we generate these methods, we will generate these methods in a class file, right? And if you are from object oriented again, we can invoke one method to another method. Agree?
Yes.
We can invoke one method to another method. So from flows also, can I invoke one flow to another flow? Same
Yes.
functionality here also. By using a flow reference, we can achieve that, right? And if you are assuming method is equal to flow equal to method, in method in Java, at least in Java, I'm from Java background, so in Java we know it is following a single responsibility principle. Every method should have a single responsibility only. You should not club the multiple responsibilities in one flow. So you should follow single responsibility principle. Okay. In the when you are writing a mule applications also, every flow should have a single responsibility only. Of course, you can invoke from one flow to another flow by using a flow reference. Okay, we need to follow single responsibility principle. For example, let's take in the traditional approach, in the previous approach, let's take there is a one very big database related project. Okay, and we have few modules like module 1, module 2, module 3, like that. Okay, so if in the traditional approach, if I want to test this module 1, we cannot test that module separately. Entire database modules will be deployed and will be tested. So what type of application we can call this as? What type of application this is called as? It is
Monolithic
a
application.
exactly monolithic application. Nowadays it is very common to say what type of architecture they follow.
Microservices.
Microservice architecture. Let's take the same example here. Same related to database. Let's take there is a module 1, there is a module 2, of course module 3, like that. I will take two modules. Okay, so this module 1 I will name it as 01 database endpoint start project, which I used. This is 02 externalization start project. Okay, now if I want to test this module 1, I need to treat this module 1 as a separate project, then only I can deploy. Correct? If I want to treat this as a separate project, as a separate service, what are the configurations required? You know, connections. What are the connection details required? Assume that in database endpoint also there is a secure properties. So then tell me, what are the what are the configurations you can see?
HTTP listener.
HTTP required. Right, HTTP. These are the global elements. Okay. HTTP connection required. Next, database
Database
connection
con.
details required, and securing the properties details also required. Okay, now I will deploy this as a separate project, because in this module 1 there is a flow. In that flow there is a listener, it is pointing to this connection. There is a select operation, it is pointing to the database connection. So if there is a secure configuration property, you need to configure, that will be point to the secure configuration properties. Okay, so if you want to deploy module 2, that means 0 to externalization. Here also, did I configure HTTP? Did I configure database? Did I configure secure? Here also we have a flows, listener, select operation, and secure properties. All are pointing to this global configurations across the project level. Okay, but when you see this 01 database endpoint, 02 externalization project, both are using same kind of a configurations. Agree?
Yes.
Yes.
So once I write a configurations at a database project level, can I reuse that at the externalization project level? Once I create a global element, can I use that across the projects?
Yes.
Hmm? Yes or no?
Yes.
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 How come? Once I create HTTP in the database project, can I use that in externalization project?
It has its own global element, right?
That's what. Assume that I didn't write any externalization. I'm just starting that externalization. Here there is a requirement of I want to create all these configurations again. Already I created in a database project. So can I use that explanation in the explanation project?
No, right?
No, right? We cannot use the global elements across the projects. Only within the project I can use it. Correct? That's what the global element means till now. Right? But I know I am writing the repeated logic across the projects. So as a developer, first idea what comes to your mind?
Place it in one common file.
So we should have some global configurations where this database project should use the configurations, and the explanation project also should use the configuration. Such kind of a configurations are required. So that is the reason MuleSoft has given one project called Mule Domain Project. If you observe, when you deploy the application on AnyPoint Studio, in the AnyPoint Studio, all the projects are deployed under which domain till now? No one observed. All the projects are deployed under which domain?
Localhost is it?
That no, not that domain. I'm talking about project domain.
No, I didn't observe.
If I tell the answer, you may think, okay, okay, this is the one. Default domain, right? When you see the logs, you will be having a application. What is that application deployed? And it says domain, then it says status on your console. Have you observed that?
Yes, sir.
No. Here it is
Yes.
written as default. Here status as deployed, and here is application name, right? So by default, domain is default domain. It's an implicit one. It is not a customizable one. It's a default one. Okay. Now I want to create my own domain now, custom domain, where I can configure the global configurations. So what are in common? HTTP database secure, right? Idea is what? I don't want to write in local. I want to configure that in a domain project. So how I configure in local? Same way. HTTP database and secure. What is the idea? I don't want to create a local connections. That means project level global connections I don't want. Okay. Now if you don't write the configurations, here your listener is pointing to global configuration, right? It is not available. So when you try to deploy this as a separate project, definitely your mule runtime will check for the global elements which are not available. So what I can do, before deploying the application itself, I need to refer this project to the domain project. Okay. Now when you deploy this 01 database project, your mule runtime, when it is parsing the configurations, when it is parsing the HTTP listener configuration, it will look for, is there any global element available or not. If it is not available, then it will check this project is referred to which domain project. So it will be mentioned there, okay, this project is pointing to mule domain project 1. Okay, so it will check already this domain project is deployed or not. If it is not deployed, it will start deploying the mule domain project first, and the configurations are available for use, and this listener configuration will point to HTTP in the global, select operation will point to database in the local. Basically, I mean to say, domain project is deployed and then your local project will be deployed, because by the time the configuration should be available for use. Got it? How to refer and how we can check that I will show you now. So, and if I want to deploy the module to externalization start project, before deploying I want to refer that to domain project, so that these configurations will be inherited. That means ready for use. Clear? Is it clear?
So
So
just one
Sujit, when you
question.
Yes.
go ahead.
Um, now in the database project we have two, right? One is the start and one is externalization.
Correct.
So this particular domain is created in that project, or
No,
it,
separate project.
so then
How you
I
are
can use that same domain for all other projects as
multiple
well apart from DB.
multiple projects. That is the main idea, right?
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
So Sujit,
Shall
when
we
you
move
say
on?
here one
Hmm.
question. So when you say a project here, right? So that means in one XML file, right? So the global elements created as a global elements in the project means like in that XML file only they can be referred in only that XML file in multiple flows, but not outside that XML file, right?
I didn't get you. Sorry. You are talking about
No,
domain
when
project XML file or local project XML file?
in a local project. So I have an
Okay.
when you say project, when you have an project, when start.
Let's take this is the project. Let's take I want to deploy this externalization project, where I have a listener and three global elements. If you go to the
Ah,
configuration XML, I have three global elements. Yeah. Idea is
so
what?
now this
I will
this can
delete
be anywhere within this XML only, right? Anywhere within this
within the
project.
project. Within the project. XML means multiple XML also can be fine in this explanation start project. The scope is project level.
Okay.
I deleted that now. Okay, global elements I deleted. When you go to the message flow, this listener is pointing to what? Here, HTTP listener config, which is not available now. I deleted that. Database pointing to database config, which is not available. So where I can configure, idea is what? I want to refer that from the global. So how to create a domain project? Let's create a new working set 07 domains. Okay. Let's create a new project. Here you can see there is an option called mule domain project. Click on that and I will give as a domain demo. Okay. Okay, domain demo. Now one more point just you need to understand, when you create a normal project, one XML file will be created, right? Mule configuration XML. It contains three parts. What are those? Message flow, global element, and a configuration XML. Correct? But when you create a mule domain project, here also an XML file will be created, but we don't have a three options. We have only two options: global element and a configuration XML. No message flow. That is what is the meaning? This mule domain project is specifically designed to write a global connections. Okay, that is the reason. If you can see here, when you create a mule domain project, there is no message flow. I have only global element and a configuration XML. That's why mule palette also will not be enabled. Okay, so now what are the three common configurations I need to configure? And you can also observe by default HTTP listener and socket configurations will be loaded, right? For every normal mule project. In the domain project it is not loaded. You can observe on the build path, right? So any module you need to add from the exchange. Okay. So tell me, what are the three configurations? At least you can guide me how to do that. It is equivalent to your practice part. Tell me now, what are the three configurations I need to configure here?
HTTP
HTTP.
database
Click
server.
on create HTTP, which is not available. So by there is no message flow. That means no modules are added by default. So everything I need to get it from the exchange. So you can go to the manage module, and here under the mule project, under the modules, we can see the plus sign. You can get it from the exchange, from exchange. As I told yesterday, how we use the secure properties, same way. Log into that and just type for a keyword. I hope you know about that. I'm going a little bit fast here in the domains level. HTTP connector, let me add that first. Along with the HTTP socket also will be added. Next, what is required?
Database.
Database is required. Next,
Secure config.
secure properties required. Mule secure configuration properties. Click on finish. Okay, next I need to create now. So HTTP listener configure. Now I am getting that once I added. So 8081, this is the normal configuration. At database connection level, I need to do the modifications because I am going to fetch the details from where? Secure file. So what is the syntax to be used at at a connection level? You are aware. So first of all, in the explanation start project, there is a secured file, right? Let me copy that to the domain src main resources. Okay, I think it is added. Next, create database config. Yeah, what is the semantic I need to use?
Dollar and curly brace.
Secure db dot host. Port number, I didn't explain that.
Sujit, you're giving only single colon.
I'm giving 2 colons, no? Where?
In host only.
Double colon
We should
only.
give, we should give double colon, right? Or no?
Ah, it is double colon only, right?
Okay.
That is double colon. Mule training DB. Let's check the test connection. Anything wrong I have done? No, right?
In property file, you have not specified this.
Hmm?
In property files, you did not specify.
No one got this point. Huh? What about Gururaj Shalini? Yeah, good Santosh. So I have written a database connection, but where it is decrypting the value, that should decrypt it, right? So I didn't specify which file to be taken. While the file is taken, what is the property also I didn't mention. Correct? So what is the file name? db hyphen secure hyphen secure one, right? Glowfish. So anything else I need to configure? I configured 3 configurations in the domain project. Now my explanation project I want to deploy. Before deploying, I said we need to refer. How to refer? Right click on that project, any project, go to the properties. So just select the mule project, select that one. Till now all the projects are deployed under which domain? Default domain. So I want to select domain demo. Immediately you can see the extension for the 02 explanation project. It is referring to domain demo project, right? Now if you go to explanation project under message say listener and select operation. Previously it was shown as an errors. Now is it clear? Right? Now how to deploy this application? Right click on this externalization project, run the project straight away. So how the mechanism work, I told you, right? Your project will be built. Once the build is success, then your mule server will be started. Then
Deployed.
mule server will be started. Then it will try to deploy this externalization start project. When it is trying to deploy, it will check, okay, this project is pointing to domain project. So first it will check whether the domain project is deployed or not. If it is not, it will start deploying it, and the configurations will be available for use. And under the domain project, your externalization project will be deployed. So build is success. My server is started. Basically, it's starting still. You can see the status here. Domain demo is deployed first, and for this externalization start project, I selected that domain. So your project is deployed under domain demo. So if I send the request, I should get the same response. Correct? Let's send the request from the postman. Guys, did you understood the concept or not?
Is it that domain demo is deployed in default domain?
I don't know. Your voice is a little bit not clear. Can you please, adjust the mic, Guru? It is coming in echo sound.
Is it okay now?
It is similar, but fine. Tell me, what is the issue?
No, the domain demo project where that will be deployed in default domain, because in that the logs we are seeing
Yes,
something like
exactly. Domain project will be deployed under default domain, and your project will be deployed under a customized domain. So, am I getting a response? Apple products, HP, sir, HP. So basically, what you understood, we can create a global connections in one project called domain project, and you can refer the local project to the domain project. Now we have done in our AnyPoint Studio, which is an embedded runtime, right? I want you to deploy this externalization project in the standalone server. I will not give any hint over there. Just to see the structure of a standalone, whether you want to export the two files, or if you think that externalization project is already having a dependency of a domain, so only externalization project is enough. So please think about it and deploy in the domain in the standalone server and get the output. Will you do that?
You can try.
Yes. Very easy one. If you see the structure, you'll understand. Yeah.
Sujit, can you repeat that? Like
Which part?
that whatever standalone deployment that you said, no? Standalone server.
Simple.
So
I want you to deploy this Externalization Start project in a standalone server with the domain project. Got it or not?
when you say standalone server, you meant to say like what you did now, right? That is what.
It's an Anypoint Studio embedded runtime, right? Of course, it is also on premises only, but explicitly, if you want to deploy on a standalone server, how you will deploy this application?
We can just
Still
copy
not.
the jar file and keep it, right?
It's up to you. What you want to do, you can do that, but complete that process.
So that standalone server can be anything, is it? Or it should be a mule runtime?
Standalone server means runtime only, you know. What do you mean by standalone server, guys?
That
We have
mule
seen
No, no.
runtime
standalone
server.
standalone deployment strategy. We have seen, right? So this is the
Yes.
standalone server. This is the standalone server. This is the standalone server. I want you to deploy that application in this standalone server. Just refer it in which folder you need to give which file. If you just go through that, you'll understand. I don't want to tell anything on top of that. Once you practice, if you're not able to understand, then I will come to the picture. Tomorrow, any which I will ask what you completed and all. Okay, but by the time, please. Okay,
So Sujit,
yes, tell me, Guru.
no, no. So you showed that standalone server, right? That we have. So we need to spin up that server and then deploy this project into that server, right? That is the idea, right?
Correct. See, basically, how you will deploy any application into the on-premises server. Okay, otherwise, I change the terminology. On-premises server manually. First deployment strategy, what we used. I want you to use the same strategy here, the externalization project. So, while practicing, you should understand whether you want to export only this file or both the files. Once you export both the files, where you need to place that files in order to deploy. That's what observation I want. Any
So
questions
this
still?
is this is something which we have done earlier, right? Where we export as a jar file and then place it into the mule
Same thing
runtime.
only. That's what that's what same thing only. But small change will be there. While you are deploying, you'll understand. Okay.
Okay.
I can tell within 2 minutes, but I don't want. I want you to explore that. Yes. Still any questions on that?
We'll explore soon.
Simple. I mean, it hardly it will take 5 minutes time for you. That's it. Don't worry too much of that. It's very simple as in whatever I created a project in Anypoint Studio, I deployed in the studio itself. Now what I want you to export that out of the studio in a standalone server. That's it. Simple. Okay. You know already how to deploy that in a standalone server. Now you can take that as a mini project or what kind of stuff you want. Basically, whatever the concepts I have discussed till now, on top by using that, I want you to create one mini project. I will give the overview of a requirement. I want you to implement. Are you ready? No, not ready.
Yes.
Why no confident answers? Yes. No confident yes.
Yes, Sujit will do.
We consume the REST API. Agree? We
Yes.
consume SOAP API and we connected with the database and we fired a query. Okay. Let's take there is an operation called get all products. Here also we have a get all products and we have a query called select query, select star from product. Okay. Now from the client application, Client application, which is the application for us?
Postman.
Postman. His requirement is when he send a request like get method slash all, he want a response like only one array. For example, let's take all products means 6 products. Here 6 products. Here 6 products. So 18 products are there, right? So he want everything to be concatenated and to be displayed under one array, all the 18 products, and this array should be in a JSON format. This is the requirement. This is the requirement. So what you can use the components when he send this request, one request, right? It should send to multiple requests, multiple applications. So you can use one router called scatter gather router. Okay. By using the scatter gather router, we can send the request to multiple applications. So you know already how to consume the REST API, how to consume the SOAP API. Okay. So it's up to you whether you want to create a new flows or itself inside a scatter gather itself you will write a logic for a REST application, SOAP application, database. It's up to you how you design it, how you feel comfortable. Okay. My idea is create a separate flows for each and every consuming REST one, consuming SOAP one, consuming a database one. From the scatter gather router, you will refer all these three. I'm just giving an overview. Okay. Once you put on the practical scenario, you'll understand easily. So the scatter gather router should be right in a separate flow. Total 4 flows should be there. 3 for consuming REST, SOAP, and the database. One is a main flow. Okay. From the scatter gather router, by using a flow reference, we will route to these 3 flows. Next. That is the first step, sending the request to the multiple applications. Second requirement is they will be giving some response back, right? Like JSON, like XML, like tabular format. All the 3 different formats convert into Java format by using a transformer. Individually, at each flow, use one transformer, convert into the Java format. Basically, some uniform format. I'm using Java here. Whatever the payload you are getting from the request character, from the consume character, from the select operation, convert into Java format. So from the scatter gather router, finally, you will be getting a 3 Java objects. That is a payload. Okay, that will become the final payload. Now, the third requirement is convert that payload into 3 different, right? Convert into single array. So first Java object, that means Java object, not Java object, it's a Java array. In that Java array you have a 6, right? 6 products. Here 6 products, 6 products. So total you will be having a 18 products in the payload in a different arrays, right? Now what you can do, use one more transformer and write this function in the transformer. Don't worry about this function. Flatten is a function. Take this entire payload as an input and use 2 dots, which is nothing but a descendant selector. Descendant means what? It will extract all the elements in the arrays, 3 arrays, and it's create a new payload with a single array. So the return value of this flatten function should be an array with 18 objects. Okay, that will become the final payload of your application. That response will be given to the listener. Listener will give a response back to the client. So first requirement is send the request concurrently. I told how to send the request concurrently. Second step, after concurrent process, concatenate the data by using a flatten function and convert that into JSON format. So where you write this flatten function? Inside a transformer where it have a 3 hyphens as a separator. You write that in the body, in the header part output application slash JSON. So
after flatten function, whatever the array we are getting, that will be converted into JSON format. So finally you will be getting a array of 18 JSON objects. Understood?
Actually, I should not tell all this what do you call the router and all, but still, I just given some hint. Will you complete?
So Sujit, basically we'll have to create this REST APIs first, right? This REST API, SOAP API, and then this
Hmm. Try it out,
DB.
no? Try it out. No? If I give answer, there is no use, right?
Okay.
If you spend time on this, definitely you'll get it.
Okay, sure, Sujit.
Yeah. It is not a complex scenario, basic scenario. Just I want you to, scale your confidence. Where how far you are familiar about the concepts. It's a checkpoint for you guys. Okay. Even I didn't include a file module, Java module, and all. Just I want to go with a simple concept like REST SOAP and a database. Okay.
Okay.
Start practicing it. Both assignments to be completed by tomorrow. I will stop here for you. Okay, I'll upload the recording as soon as possible. Based on that, whenever you have a time today, spend at least 1 hour time. It is more than enough for these assignments, two assignments. 1 hour with more than enough. Okay, so by tomorrow morning, first 10 minutes, since we have only 4 to 5 people, I will switch to everyone's screen, and I will have a look. If you have any questions, I will explain the concept. Okay. um, you can import one project from the workspace where I created all these three flows. I made your work very easy. Okay, which is nothing but a 0 1 scatter gather project. You can import that project. Only you need to configure the main flow. Okay, 50% of work I have done there and given to you. Just you, I want you to implement it. Any questions?
No,
No.
Shall we drop for today? And can I expect by tomorrow?
sure.
Manju, Nisha, no answers. Okay then. Thank you, guys.